Welcome to another episode of Keeping the DL. I'm Luis Angelillo, and with me always Devin Bonanno. What's up, Dev?
I'm ready.
Yes, we got sports coming around the corner, and we will just get to that in a moment. We're going to start off right now with some Colin Kaepernick talk because he's back at it again. His new Disney deal is that they just reached to do a docuseries, and we're just going to take this right into the NFL talk. I don't think the NFL has been great handling the situations that they're presented with right now. But first, I'm going to talk about Colin Kaepernick here. And a lot of controversial stuff going on, but I just got to say this about Kaepernick because it's just been in my mind way too much. So we're going to go through a Colin Kaepernick timeline here. So first, if you didn't know, Colin Kaepernick was adopted. He was adopted into a white family from Milwaukee at 4 years old. They moved to California in a neighborhood that was 70% white and less than 2% black. So Colin Kaepernick, not coming from an oppressed city, a city that you need to, pull up yourself from and get out of there and really try to make something of yourself. He was already in a position where he was going to be better off. He was not saying he's, privileged, because I don't like using that word, but he was in a good scenario to be in. A very good high school he went to, just a great situation for him. And he made the most of it. He went to the University of Nevada, played great, obviously went on to the NFL, made millions, went to a Super Bowl. All was good. Just nothing wrong with him there. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Then, obviously, he gets benched for Blaine Gabbert in San Francisco. He takes a knee during the national anthem, and at the time, there was a lot of backlash, so much controversy because it was new. We haven't really seen this, saying that the kneeling was because of police brutality in America, and police brutality should never exist. Police should be the highest charactered citizens, of anyone in America. There should be no cases of police brutality, and we all can say police brutality is wrong. So the stance was not wrong. I respect the right that he has to protest and make it about, police brutality in America. At the time, I can say I was a little confused by it. I don't know why he had to do it during the national anthem and couldn't maybe find some other way to do this rather than making it feel like it's about America and so on. So he says it's not about America. Whatever. Then basically says that he's exiled from the NFL. Nike picks him up on a contract, gives him millions. Here he is taking photo shoots in front of expensive cars, expensive Jaguars, with his millions of dollars. And then the NFL, they obviously talked to him, says, they were kicked out unfairly, sued the NFL, got a few million there from that. And then the NFL does right. They try to bring him back into the league, create his tryout, an NFL tryout with all 30 NFL team scouts are there to come see him try out. He does not show up to that tryout. Instead, he tells them where he's holding a tryout on his terms and, having things done his way. Because the company that you want to get back into sets this thing up for you, and then you have to go and do it another way, which just showed me right then and there that this guy is not serious about playing football. He doesn't want to play football. He's made millions of dollars. He doesn't feel the need to even go and play football. So now they're, again, with all this more uprising stuff of race tensions and social justice issues, more teams are saying they're interested in Colin Kaepernick. And Colin Kaepernick's not going to come back unless he's going to get $10 million a year. Once again, showing he doesn't want to play football unless he's going to get $10 million a year to do so. And to think that he's worth $10 million a year is crazy. You saw Cam Newton, a previous MVP, get paid to be a starting quarterback at $7.5 million for the year, and that's the most he can make. I think he's getting paid less than that. So for him to think that he wants to be this NFL QB, just not true. Now, July 4th comes around. In 2011, Kaepernick tweets out there, says, hope everyone has a great 4th of July. 4th of July 2020, we renounce this white privilege holiday. July 4th is not a white privilege holiday. July 4th is celebrating our independence from British rule. That's what July 4th is about, us being an independent state. It has nothing to do with white privilege, nothing to do with anything white at all. Nothing white at all. It's those men that defended the flag and gave that right to us to be free from British rule. That's all the 4th of July is. And now here he comes out saying that it's a white privilege holiday. We renounce this holiday as these oppressed and, as oppressed people, we renounce this holiday. Which now brings me back to his kneeling point. He said it was not about America, it was not about the flag, but clearly it is, Colin. Clearly it is. Clearly you think that you live in this huge oppressed country where you went to a high school where there was 70% white people, less than 2% black people. You were able to go to the University in Nevada, didn't really have to overcome much. I'm sure he faced racism. I'm not going to say Colin Kaepernick faced no sort of racism at all, because that would be unfair to me to say. Racism does exist. Let's not pretend like racism is not a thing. But he did not come from this, social, systemic racism place in America. He did not come from that. So when you say that kneeling wasn't about the flag, then you go out and tweet something like, we renounce the 4th of July. It bothers me a lot. I just think that this is a total fraud move, because clearly kneeling was against America and the national anthem. If you're going to come out here and say that you don't support July 4th as a national holiday, it's just absolutely ridiculous to me. And now you get Disney paying him $10 million to do a documentary series where he only wants minority people working on it. Jamil Hill is going to be the director of it only because she's black. That's the only reason, because he wants minority people working on this. He doesn't want any white people working with him because, of white supremacy. That's why. So I do not like Colin Kaepernick. I do not agree with him here. I respect his decision to protest the national anthem, but it's just so fraudulent when you go ahead and say that it's not about the anthem or the flag, and then you come out and say that you don't support Independence Day, and you're basically protesting Independence Day, and you're going to tell me it's not about the flag. You had the right to protest police brutality. And that's what I hope the kneel means this coming NFL season, because people are going to be kneeling, players are going to be kneeling, and I hope that this is what it means, that they're just taking a stand against police brutality and not against our national anthem and our flag. But a better way to protest it is do not kneel during the national anthem. As soon as the kickoff happens, have both teams, offense, defense, running on the field, take a knee for the whole entire play clock. The defensive team declines the penalty, and you play football. Everyone will be in unity, kneeling together as one, because that's what America is. We are one nation under God. We are not two separate things. Which brings me to the next point: is this so-called black national anthem, which is the song "Lift Every Voice and Sing," will be played before the national anthem of Week 1 games. It's a fantastic song. I listened to it. Very powerful song, reflecting on black-powered people that brought black Americans to where they are today. A fantastic song. And I love that it's going to, I do enjoy that this is going to be played before the Star-Spangled Banner. But the huge problem I have with this is that they're calling this a black national anthem. Well, what is a black national anthem? The national anthem is the national anthem. There's no other national anthems. Whether you're black, white, or brown, Jewish, it doesn't matter. You have one national anthem, and that is the Star-Spangled Banner. Do not call this the black national anthem. Say we could play America the Beautiful before the game. Just say we're going to play Lift Every Voice and Sing before the game. No problems with this. But you're going to label it a black national anthem. It just seems very pandering and just very divisive and very just segregated. Like, what's next? Are we going to have a Mexican national anthem? Like, no, absolutely not. So it's just, I do not agree with calling this the black national anthem. I don't like that word. That's like black people don't recognize the Star Spangled Banner as their national anthem. They only recognize this Lift Every Voice and Sing song as their national anthem. Just not right in my eyes, calling it the black national anthem. I just say we're going to play Lift Every Voice and Sing before the games start. So that really just rubbed me the wrong way. And that ends my rant about the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, and what they're trying to do this season.
Words from you, Lou. You make some amazing points there. I mean, I won't go on too much since you really hit the nail on the head, and like I said, made a lot of good points. It's just a shame that it has to get to this point, you know? I mean, a lot of people look at sports as a way out of society and to get away from their everyday lives and to get away from politics. And now more so than ever, politics is intertwined with sports, and it's very sad. And there really is no escape now. And personally, I mean, of course, this might come off the wrong way maybe, but of course this is my own personal feeling in that I don't think players should use their current stature, not their stature, but their platform as a way to express their political feelings, especially. And I'm not even just saying that for athletes. I just think from a professional standpoint, any type of business that you work with, I think it's important to just stay as neutral as possible. What you do at home and at your own time, and even whatever you tweet, if these players want to tweet and say stuff, that's fine. But as long as you have that team jersey on and you're under the lights or you're on the ice or you're on the court, I don't think that there should be room for that, you know, because there are people that are going to disagree with that, and of course there are people that are going to agree with that, and you're going to upset the other side. You know what I'm trying to say? I just think it's important to try to stay neutral, and unfortunately that's not going to happen anymore. And a lot of guys do, and a lot of guys do use their platform for the better. I mean, you do see change. It works. You obviously see what the NBA is doing, allowing players to express their emotions on the back of their jerseys and giving them a list of names that they can put on the back of their jerseys, which is a really cool idea. And a lot of parts of the fan base will really enjoy that. But at the end of the day, there are going to potentially be sponsors and fans that just don't ultimately agree with that because it is a political stance. That's all I'm trying to say. Just to go back onto my point, politics and sports should be two completely separate things, and I'm not a big politics guy. It's tough not to be now, and that's why I'm a big sports fan myself, in that it's kind of an escape from the real world and from politics, and now it's just tough to get away. And I hope that people just come together and find a resolution or just ride this wave and get the change that they need, or let them voice their opinions for a certain amount of time. Not that there has to be a time limit, but just so that they can at least do these type of things for a little bit and hopefully just kind of create a little bit of separation. I think that'll be very good for all leagues and for everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's happened over the last 100 days in America without sports. I mean, you could say it's a coincidence, but I really think it'd be a little less if we had sports around right now. You can say, oh, it's just one big coincidence that sports stopped and all this happened. I don't know. I mean, it's my opinion. I think that, sports being gone does have a little bit more to do with it. It definitely does. I mean, I do agree with you. I don't like seeing politics in sports. I do see sports as an escape, but we're in different times now, and players have a right to take a political stance. I mean, doing it with doing it on your team jersey. Like I said, we talked about this last week with the NBA jerseys. Yeah, we have a problem with that. The team's jersey is the team jersey. You need to be united as one. Unless it's going to be on everybody's team jersey and the team is all for it, then I guess okay. But, I mean, you can't – I mean, taking a stance on your own and doing something to your jersey that you rub someone else the wrong way, making it about yourself is not the way to go in my opinion here.
I agree with you, Lou. Throughout this whole rant, and, of course, we're going to move to the next topic in a second, which is still political, but – you make some great points, and like I said, not to rub anybody the wrong way at all. It's just I'm a big believer in the separation of sport and politics, just how there's a separation of church and state too. I mean, that it's no different than that. To me, the basis is the same thing. You're not gonna have people
Good
that
analogy.
are Catholics and you shouldn't put Catholic ideologies within the government. Because, of course, there are going to be Jewish people, there are going to be Muslims, there are going to be Islamics, everything. There are going to be people of different beliefs. It's the same exact thing. That's the basis of it to me. It's a separation of church and state.
I like the analogy there, Dev. I do. So the next thing we got here, Deshaun Jackson tweeting some stupid things, whether it came off the wrong way or not. I don't know how you can ever come off in a right way when you're quoting Adolf Hitler. I mean, it's pretty bad that someone's going to come out here and say anti-Semitic things about the Jews blackmailing America and so on and so forth. Just disgusting comments that I saw were just basically let off the hook. He did make an apology. He said he's sorry that happened. I only saw Carson Wentz reached out to him to try to see where he was coming from with those statements, but I don't know where you could be coming from with those statements that he made. Extremely anti-Semitic. There's really no excuse to make that kind of statement on Twitter and social media. Just terrible. And there's no outlash from this from any NFL players, no NBA players, nothing. Absolutely no backlash from Deshaun Jackson's anti-Semitic statements when all Drew Brees said was that he would like to see people stand for the anthem and doesn't like to see people kneeling. That warranted for the NFL and NBA players to crush Drew Brees, demand him make an apology, and so on and so forth, when he didn't say anything that was anti-Semitic or would hurt a particular race of people. So I find the hypocrisy absolutely unbelievable that Deshaun Jackson can come out here and say anti-Semitic things and everyone just looks the other way.
On the money there. The hypocrisy is just crazy. And even more than that, set the hypocrisy aside because, of course, that's there. What are you doing quoting Hitler? And what I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know how he could.
Dev, if I start quoting Hitler, please stop me.
I'll remember. I'll
stop me.
That.
Okay.
I know you.
Thank you.
I know I've had to stop you almost quite a few times, but it's just it's crazy. I don't know what his point is. I don't know if it's a misinformed thing, like you said.
But that's the thing is we don't even know what he was getting at.
What he was getting at and what the point was at all.
I think it might have been some things going around or saying, these Jewish people were oppressed and, they're not asking for any reparations and things like that going around saying, how the Jews were treated just like the blacks were and they're not outraged and protesting and rioting for slave reparations or, you treated us unfairly reparations and things like that. So I think he was trying to make some kind of comment back
I
at
just think
the Jewish
it
people.
boils down to a misinformity. I think it's just something as simple as he just saw this quote, really didn't read into it that much, and just posted it. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was definitely what he was trying to do, what I was saying before. That was his intended message, but man,
Yeah,
it was bad. It was bad.
It'd be weird to see what people do here, too, on a personal standpoint.
I know, because what they had, who was that white wide receiver for them that used the N-word on the Eagles? Oh, I'm going blank. He had the flow. He had long brown hair. He's not in the league anymore, I don't think. He's not.
Yeah.
Something with a C, a hard C or a K.
Riley Cooper.
I can't think of his name. But yeah, the Eagles were Riley Cooper. Yep. There it is, Cooper. Yep. So, you saw that happen in the Eagles organization, and he was basically just kicked out.
Yep.
After that season. Finally, their last thing, trying to get out of the politics here, but the Redskins looks like they're going to be changing their name. I believe this is, a long time coming. I think that this should have just been done a while ago with the way things were going in the world when the league started. Maybe this was acceptable, but, come post 2010, it started to be like, okay, your name is a racial slur for, Native Americans. This probably needs to be changed. The part owners want to sell and get out of their, just get out of the organization because, Dan Snyder is against, renaming the team. But I don't know. I really think that, this name change needs to, be changed. And I saw something funny. Someone said they should be the Opossums because they played dead at home and they're roadkill and get killed on the road.
That is really funny.
So
yeah,
that's a funny
I've
name.
I've seen a bunch of funny ones too, but I think that takes it. That's actually good. I hadn't heard that before. But yeah, this has obviously been a hot topic of discussion, probably, Lou, since you're right, for the past 10 years or so. And it was bound to happen. And, Dan Snyder has always been very vocal about saying, I don't care what the heck happens. I am not changing the name of the Redskins, and it's not happening. I just don't know how, with everything going on, how that's going to happen. I don't know. And you're already seeing the backlash. It needs to happen. It
needs to happen.
Yeah.
FedEx is pulling out. I think Nike's not selling their stuff.
They can't get any merchandise sold. It's kind of like their sponsors are forcing them to do it. So I don't know how Dan Snyder's going to get out of this one. And like you mentioned, Dan Snyder's the majority owner. He owns 60% of the team, and he has 3 minority owners that own the remaining 40%, and they've all claimed or expressed how they want out. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen here. Is this going to happen before the season? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And, there's going to be a lot of changes. You got to create a logo. You have to do all this in the matter of, really, a month and a half.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot. I wonder if you're going to see players just not take part in the Redskins, X for trades, X to be released so they can go play for another team because the Redskins are in deep, deep trouble. So bringing us to our final piece of NFL news, the NFL plans on cutting the preseason. I just wanted to mention that. The NFL Players Union wants preseason games canceled and opt-out clauses, for their players to opt out of the season if they don't want to play with any with any repercussions or things like that. But headlining, breaking news from the weekend, Patrick Mahomes, $450 million over the next 10 years. The deal could be as high as $503 million. The richest, the highest paid contract in all of sports, not in terms of guaranteed money, but in money-wise, in all of sports, $450 million, biggest contract ever. Mahomes deserving of it?
I don't think there's a question that he's not deserving of it. You know, I mean, this contract, this is what you pay the face of the NFL. Is Patrick Mahomes the face of the NFL? In my mind, yes, Lou. I agree.
Absolutely.
100%. And look at what he's accomplished in his first 3 years of the league already. You know, he's 27-8 as a starter. He's already won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP and a league MVP, and he's probably going to repeat as league MVP this year, all by the age of 25. I mean, that's just remarkable. And funny enough, I know we were talking on the phone earlier today, but I was getting my hair cut today for the first time since February, first time in a barber in 5 months. But that's besides the point. They had FS1 on, and they had Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless talking about the contract, and it was. I'm trying to find the specifics now, Lou, and maybe I'll get them while you have your take on the Mahomes deal too. But
So I'll go.
There are some really cool specifics with the contract.
No, I did not see what they said. Yeah, I know that's why it's on like $450 million, but he can get up to $503. If you want to pull up those specifics, that's all well and good. But Mahomes obviously can't. He can have a second league MVP. Obviously, Lamar Jackson won it last year, so it won't be a repeat of the MVP. But yes, he can win his second next year for sure. And he is he's the face of the league. $450 million. Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years. We'll see if he can hopefully stay healthy. We know he's been hurt by his ankle issues in the past. If he can work through those, he is going to be fantastic. Maybe be put up there, Brady and Joe Montana by the end of his career. I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, now he's got to be careful. He's got to take less hits, slide when needed, and, play cautiously, but play an aggressive, cautious. Know when not to take the hits, know when to get out of bounds, know when to slide. You're a $450 million man now. You cannot be diving out there and risking injury and so on and so forth. And, there's also big contrasts like this you see in the NFL. It hurts the team from getting some other needs, maybe things like on the offensive line or the defense. This might constrict the Chiefs, but, this says that Patrick Mahomes can overcome those needs that the Chiefs may need over the next 10 years.
Obviously, the Chiefs needed to do this. I mean, this is an absolute no-brainer. Like I said, you have to face the NFL. 24 years old. I mean, he's going to be 25 in September. This is a no-brainer. He's obviously very happy there. Coming off their first ever Super Bowl, or rather, second Super Bowl since Super Bowl 1 or 2, I think, or 3. Somewhere along those lines. But I was also listening to Shannon Sharp today, too, and he brought up a good point. He said, this Chiefs team, even with this contract, they are so built to win. This is a scary team. Travis Kelce is the oldest offensive weapon on their team, and he's only 30. It's unbelievable.
Oh, their offense is going to be fantastic. I'm just more concerned about that defense.
They were very solid last year. Very solid.
Spags.
Yeah.
Got my boy Steve Spagnuolo over there.
Lou, I mean, obviously, 7 in 2010, and even with everywhere he's gone, he's had very solid defenses, and some of them within the top 5 in the NFL statistically. And I'm just very happy for Mahomes. I'm a huge Mahomes guy. It couldn't have happened to a better guy. I mean, personality-wise, just all around. This is the if somebody gets this contract, it's him. He's a role model. He's a great guy, very sound, and of course, he's a freak of nature at quarterback.
Absolutely, definitely the best in the league. That's why he's the highest paid player in the world.
Don't forget about that.
All right. Oh, TikTok. No, everyone delete TikTok. Everyone delete it. Delete it right now. The Chinese government is looking up everything on you. Delete TikTok. Get rid of it as soon as possible. That'll do it for the NFL. Wow, almost 30-minute segment there on the NFL. Now, before we get into baseball, Dev, touch up on the NHL for us. They've announced the hub cities where the where the conference finals and the cup will take place, and
so
the starting date.
Just real quickly, with some NHL news, they've officially announced the hub cities being Edmonton and Toronto. Both will host place to the play-in rounds, but Edmonton will host both conference finals and the Stanley Cup final. So really, Edmonton is the capital city for the NHL's restart. And I saw something pretty interesting. They also have tentative times for the games as well. There's going to be hockey for about 15 hours of the day, which is amazing. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. So
wow.
It's all going to start off at noon Eastern in Toronto, and then the first game is going to be at 2 o'clock in Edmonton, 4 o'clock in Toronto. This is all local time. 6 o'clock out in Edmonton, and then 8 o'clock out in Toronto, and then 10 o'clock, or rather 7 o'clock Mountain Time, I believe it is, for Edmonton. So there's going to be hockey all day. I'm pumped. I mean, I'm ecstatic. The one question is, I mean, this is going to be, as a hockey player, it's easy to understand this personally, but this ice surface is just going to get chewed up. It's going to have a huge effect on the players. And, I mean, Edmonton and Toronto, I mean, they're two of the nicest rinks in the league. Edmonton's a brand new place. Beautiful, beautiful ice surface, beautiful lighting. I mean, all around, it's a gem in the NHL. I think they're going to do a very good job. And as I've said in previous episodes, the NHL always nails almost everything that they do. If they wouldn't do this unless they had a solid plan in place, I think it's going to run very smoothly. And on top of it, they signed a 4-year extension with the CBA, so I don't have to worry about a lockout either. So I'm at ease. Yes.
No. Fantastic news.
Yep.
Fantastic news in the NHL. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so it sounds like we're getting the NCAA tournament of hockey almost. You know, with not like with the style of play, but the amount of hours of the day, we're getting it all day. That's the, you know, obviously it crushed us not having the NCAA tournament this year, but those days, waking up on a Friday, throwing on the TV at 12, and you don't get off the couch until midnight. So now we got that for the NHL. Very fun. I do like that style. It gives people something to watch all day, something fun. The NHL will be back. That is great news. Finally, we get to go into baseball here. So before we get into Yanks and Mets, I want to just touch up on a lot of little things. So players that have opted out include, you know, since we talked last, was Nick Markakis, Felix Hernandez, and David Price opting out of this season. Obviously, Price was going to be in his first year with the Dodgers. Not going to happen this year. Going to need to see him in 2021. Markakis gone. Felix Hernandez, who signed a 1-year deal with the Braves, might have been his last go-round, possibly going to retire now. I don't know. Being as old as he is, taking a year off, coming back seems pretty tough. So he might have seen Felix Hernandez's career come to an end. But if there was a 60 games, if he had just 5 stars left in him, I would have loved to see what Felix Hernandez would have done. Obviously, I have a soft spot for him because I saw him throw his perfect game in Seattle. So kudos to Felix. And another huge hurt for the Braves here is Freddie Freeman has the virus. He's had a fever, so he was not going to join the Braves anytime soon. They're saying they're hopeful that he'll be able to start the season with them. Some dates to keep in mind around the league. The Yankees were kicked out of the Field of Dreams game, which was supposed to happen with the White Sox in August. It is now happening with the St. Louis Cardinals on August 13th. I guess they don't really need to worry about fans at that game anymore. August 16th, there's a 100th anniversary of the Negro League celebration. I absolutely love this. I've been to the Negro League Museum. It is fantastic, just learning about all the players that played in those leagues. It is one of the most interesting leagues out there. It was really just spectacular learning so much about the Negro League. So that will be fun. 100th anniversary of that. And August 28th, is going to be Jackie Robinson Day. So they are not canceling Jackie Robinson Day. That was supposed to be in April. They will have it on August 28th. Dev, you can now react to everything I just said.
Honestly, a lot coming in. I just want to touch upon the Felix Hernandez and the Freddie Freeman news that you touched upon real quick.
Yeah.
I'm a big Felix Hernandez fan. I always have. He's such an electric pitcher. A lot of fun to watch. It's going to be really sad to see him leave if he does retire. Hopefully not on this note. I'd love to see him get another shot somewhere. And then Freddie Freeman, I mean, obviously one of the hidden gems in the MLB, really does not get the notoriety that he deserves. He is an amazing player, fantastic player.
Fantastic.
Obviously hope he's okay and he and his family are okay, and just hope he's not out from a sports standpoint for an extended period of time, because that's going to be a big bat that the Braves are going to miss with he and, of course, Acuna. So if Freeman's out for a little bit, Acuna's going to not really have as much protection, so he's really going to be out there, and he's going to have to carry that Braves lineup, especially with Markakis out too. So the Braves already with 3 guys out, technically, I think still, right, Lou, a Yankee division foe right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. And of course, I mean, we're going to touch upon it too, but I'll let you go with it, Lou. But one of the Yankees, arguably their best player last year, out with the virus as well.
Yes, DJ LeMahieu has the virus. We are not sure of how severe it is, if he has severe symptoms or he's asymptomatic. No one really knows. But I'm confident that he will come back and start the season. And you know what a machine he is. He does not need a lot of time to get baseball ready. So DJ LeMahieu does have it. I'm glad he has it now and not 2 weeks from now. So get well soon. Luis Cessa also has it for the Yankees. The Mets have stayed clear of Corona. They do not have anybody on the Corona list. They did sign Melky Cabrera to a minor league deal, inviting him to summer camp. Not Yasiel Puig, who is still out there for teams to jump on. Yes, very crazy. Scary injury that happened over the weekend. Tanaka got clocked in the head by a Giancarlo Stanton line drive, who James Paxton said came off the bat at 112 miles an hour, which is 112 off the dome is a lot. But Tanaka has, I want to see what Tanaka's head looks like now, because his head was already huge and it's even bigger now. But I can joke now because he is under his own power. He is walking around. He is okay. He has a mild concussion. He did stuff on the bike. So we're very happy Tanaka is okay. But, I mean, he probably needs a sombrero that he could fit over his head. I don't think any other hat is going to fit that head right now.
That dome of his. I mean, he's a machine. He really is. I love him. I wish he spoke a little bit more English just so I could really understand his humor. But he too.
You know what? Really quick. Speaking of English, Gleyber Torres has gotten fantastic. He does not do interviews with anyone anymore. I want to give Torres a shout-out right there. Not using an interpreter anymore. He came in the league 2 years ago, really couldn't understand the language. 3 years later, boom, no interview, no translator. I love it. Sorry to take away from you, but I wanted to say that.
Thing. He sounds great, too. You know, it's always nice seeing those guys progress. And there are a lot of guys that, of course, try and give it their all. And Tanaka's one of those guys. He has a translator, but he's always a funny guy on Twitter. I always crack up at his tweets and whatever. And he was already cracking jokes about the injury. But I can't imagine a ball coming back at me that fast, let alone a Giancarlo Stanton ball, exit velo of 112, according to Paxton. And Tanaka was okay immediately, you know, scary. So glad he's okay. I could care less about whether he's going to be ready for his first start opening weekend against the Nats or against the Phillies, whenever he would slide in. But just glad he's okay, and he is a great competitor. I really love Masahiro Tanaka.
Yes, so we're glad Tanaka is okay and recovering. Should be able to get a start in July. Oh, are we ready to get to... let's start with just the inner squads that have been happening really quick. Yankees have had a couple inner squads the last couple of days. Something to watch on, yes, has been nice. Just a breath of fresh air to watch your players take some live at-bats, just getting back into the swing of things. Cole went today. He allowed a homer to Andujar. Andujar took an outside fastball, went with it the other way. So it's encouraging to see Andujar do that, and also encouraging to see Cole go through 5 innings, no problem, through 67 pitches, struck out like 5 or 6 through 5. So that's encouraging. That means to me we will be able to see Cole go at least 6 in the opener, because starters are going to need to go, further more into the games as the start of the season, rather than their typical 5 and done the whole month of April and getting into May, starting to get into the sixth and 7th innings. They're going to need to be in May form come the season, getting into those 6th and 7th innings. So encouraging from Cole. And yesterday, Clark Schmidt his slider was absolutely disgusting. Glaber turned his back on one. He got Sanchez looking at one and then swinging at one that almost bounced on home plate. Looked absolutely filthy stuff. Obviously things to work on, like his changeup and, fastball command can always be worked on. But very encouraging stuff from Clark Schmidt. Obviously that 5th spot's open with Severino not playing this year. You might see it go to Clark Schmidt. You could see it go to, a veteran like Loizica or Sessa comes back. They'll do some kind of opener again at the 5th spot. So interesting to see what Clark Schmidt's going to do with the Yankees, and he's definitely going to be on that roster.
He was electric yesterday. Absolutely electric. Everybody was raving about him. Boone was raving about him yesterday. I mean, he looked amazing. And he had some really cool comments, too. He was fired up. He seems like an absolute great competitor. He's excited.
He's excited. Yes.
The inter-squad scrimmage yesterday, he said, I don't even care if nobody was there. The fact that I was going to go up against the Yankee lineup in Yankee Stadium was a dream come true, and I was ready to compete, and it showed. And he really, he like you said,
Glaber was bloop single, and then a couple walks, a walk or two, and that was it.
This spot is up for grabs, like you said. It's going to be very competitive. I don't see how Boone doesn't give it to him. Especially after that. Of course, there's a few more weeks here. Still got some time, but if he keeps that up, I think it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah, I just think Boone might go with a veteran experience in a shortened season. Wants that veteran to someone that has that experience. Not that anyone's dealt with a shortened season, but they know what the last 60 games of the season feels like. So Boone might go with a veteran. But speaking of a veteran that's been there, CeCe's been there the last 2 days, and he looks absolutely ripped. Looks like his body fat completely left his body. He's yoked, and if someone goes down, maybe CeCe will come back and pitch out of the bullpen, because after last season, he said if he didn't hurt his arm, he might have come back again. So, not saying it's going to happen. I say it's a 5% chance that CeCe comes back and throws out of the bullpen for the Yankees.
I love seeing him in the dugout. Yeah, he's just so
in the
fun
dugout.
and enthusiastic.
Yeah,
and just an awesome guy to be around. It's unbelievable. And it's weird seeing him retire, because Lou, I'm sure you can relate, but I remember how big of a deal it was when the Yanks signed him, and signing him and Burnett and Tex, obviously, in that 08, 09 offseason, and now that he's retired, it's just strange to me, but he deserves it. I would take him back in a heartbeat, and there's no other guy I want in the mound in the playoffs other than him or Pettit, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, yep. If the Yankees lose 3 in a row, we got to go get CeCe.
I'll drive to Alpine.
The stopper. Yeah. So that's what's been going on at the Yankees here. Oh, but CeCe would also have to spend a lot more money this year, because if you leave the dugout for any reason to go, confront an umpire, you'll face suspension and fines. So CeCe probably wouldn't be able to play anyway, because he just, come out of the dugout he gets too confrontational. So I guess it's a good thing CeCe come back for this season. But that's the updates from the Yankees inter-squads. Now let's get into their expectations for the year.
Yeah,
You want to take this one first?
They're going to have the target on their backs. You know, the Nationals are not coming in here as the defending champions in my mind. Usually the defending champions, everyone's coming out to beat them. Everyone's coming out to beat the Yankees. And every year, of course, everyone's coming after the Yanks. No matter what the expectations are, they want to beat the New York Yankees. But with the addition of Garrett Cole spending over $300 million on that contract, having everybody healthy. I mean, you're going to have Judge, Stanton. Of course, Cole's going to be there. You're going to have Glaber. You're going to have Gary. Everybody's in that lineup. You know, the Yankees really do not have an excuse this year. And just like every other team, they're going to have to hit the ground running. And their schedule down the stretch is very favorable. I'm looking at it right now from all of September. From September 4th all the way through September 27th. They play the Orioles, 7 times. They play the Blue Jays, 4 + 3 is 7 + 3, 10 times. They play the Marlins 3 times and the Sox 3 times. I mean, that schedule in September it's pretty easy, you know, especially ending with the Marlins there, the last weekend of the season up in the Bronx. So there's really no excuse. The Yankees gotta hit the ground running. That lineup is just lethal. In my mind, they're the favorites to win the whole thing, which is completely fine to me, and I think Boone and everybody knows it too.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have Stanton and Judge, hopefully, for these 60 games. You gain Garrett Cole in your rotation. I don't see how they can't be a favorite here going forward. But yeah, you nailed it with the schedule. I mean, their last stretch of games is completely favorable. So if they beat the teams they're supposed to this year, like the Red Sox, the Orioles, you know, the Phillies, if they beat the Mets, they beat those teams, and then they go 500 against the Nats and the Braves and the Rays combined, and then they're sitting pretty for the end of the season. That's all they really have to do there. So I love the Yankee schedule. Another thing to point out is September 11th they will play the Mets, which is real cool.
No, not this year.
This year, I thought.
They're playing August 21st to the 23rd at Citi, and then August the next weekend, August 28th to the 30th at Yankee Stadium. But they're releasing the 2021 schedule on Thursday. So today's July 7th. We're recording tonight. Tuesday, July 7th, they're going to release the MLB schedule for next year on Thursday. So, I mean, regardless, that's going to be really cool. Of course, the 20th anniversary of 9/11, which is mind-blowing in and of itself, and having the Yankees and Mets play, it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me on that. I thought it was this year. But yes, so 2021, the September 11th, Yankees, Mets, it'll be quite emotional, but it's, you know, something definitely that will be cool to see. So we're going to get the schedule for next year then. Did not know that when we haven't even played a game this year. So we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be focused on this year, hopefully getting that going. And hopefully there is a next year because the CBA and Players Union need to agree on something. But I don't want to get into that and talk about, you know, baseball not happening again next year. So, but yeah, you look at the schedule. They start off interleague in their first 7 games against the Nats and Phillies. We went over Cole Scherzer to start the year last week, but a lot of good things to look forward to on the Yankee schedule. And before we switch it over to the Mets, I have the Yankees with 39 total wins. I broke it down. I said they get 7 against Boston. They'll get 8 against Baltimore, 6 against Toronto, 5 against Tampa, and 4 against the Mets, 2 against Atlanta, 2 against Washington, 3 against Miami, and 2 against the Phillies. That's my breakdown of the 39 games that the Yankees will win this year.
Believe it or not, Lou, I had the same exact win total. I think 39 is very fair. They're currently at 37.5 on FanDuel as of today. I think the over will hit. I think 39 is very respectable. That means they'd go 39-21 if my math is correct. Very, very easy. Not very easy, but
yes,
it's I should say it's easy to see the Yankees accomplish that. But like we've talked about before, I mean, this is going to be a tough year. I mean,
it's gonna be. That's the thing. It's gonna be one of the toughest championships ever won.
Having good opponents. I mean,
it is.
You're playing the Phils and the Nats. I mean, you're gonna have the Rays all year. You have 4 games against the Braves, which are a very good team, and then the Mets are going to be very improved too. And you still got 6 against them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but we both got them at 39 wins. I think if you're going low expectations, I mean anything lower than 35 wins this year is going to be bad. And I think the Rays would win the division if the Yankees can't crack 35 wins this year. As for high expectations, I wouldn't be surprised if they win upwards of 45 games. Right around 45. I wouldn't be surprised. But if they get to 48, I'll be like, dang, they won a lot. But 45, I wouldn't be surprised by. I just think that I'd be surprised by. But 45 and 15. I mean, I'd be like, okay, this is the team that we thought they might be. They are going to beat a lot of teams. They're going to have Judge in the lineup. They're going to have Stanton in the lineup. They have Miguel Andujar in the lineup. They have a new ace in Garrett Cole that's pitching. Aaron Hicks isn't going to miss any games, who will be the first player ever to not miss a regular season game after getting Tommy John surgery after this, by the way. And, Sanchez has a new catching coach and looks a lot better behind the dish. So they're just improving. They've improved. Definitely. So 45 and 15 to me, that's my high expectation, but not something I'd be completely shocked about. So we went through our Yankees expectations, and we have a guest now joining us to talk Mets.
My MLB Network, ex-MLB Network colleague, Michael Dadino, joins us. Mike, what's up, man?
What's up, Lewis? Thanks for having me aboard.
How's quarantine been treating you?
It's going. Nothing to write home about, but it's going.
No, you said playing some ball before this?
I was playing some basketball. Realized how I'm in such bad shape, dude. It's different when it's different once you go out there and play basketball again, dude. It's just such a different cardio.
But fun, good cardio.
Yeah, it's fun. But
I wish I could go play some ball right now. But let's get into your New York Mets. What do you expect from them this year?
I mean, outside of the Dodgers, is there a team that I don't think the Mets could beat? Probably not.
Okay.
I think this is obviously the last few years it's been all about the pitching for the Mets. I think this year it's about their lineup. Their lineup's really, really, really good. Top to bottom.
With Cespedes, yes, but how many games do you think Cespedes is going to play this year?
I'd be stoked if he played 40.
All right, I agree with you there.
Yeah, you can't count on him to play much more than that.
It's doable. It's on the higher side. I mean,
but he's going to be DHing. He may not play one game in the outfield.
10 games you get out of him.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Maybe 10 games you get out of him. I think
10 out of Cespedes.
I think that's as low as I go is 10.
No, he's going to be playing he's going to DH.
I'm thinking the 20.
Who's playing
20,
more games this year,
range.
Stanton or Cespedes?
Say that again?
I said, who's playing more games this year, Stanton or Cespedes?
Probably Stanton.
Okay, I think that's
Probably
about
Stanton.
even.
I hope his this little calf strain he has is all right and he can play most of the games. But now the Mets get a huge advantage here in having a DH because Cespedes doesn't have to go play the outfield. So that's going to help him.
You put one of the best hitters when healthy, never healthy, but one of the best hitters when healthy in the middle of that lineup. The Mets got a really, really good lineup this year.
They do. They have a great top
order. You get anything out of Cano.
Still a little spectacle.
Say that again?
Go ahead.
No, what did you say? What's spectacle? The bottom of the lineup, you
The
said?
bottom. I'm not sure if I trust the bottom of the lineup. I don't know if I really, try. I know Wilson Ramos had a solid RBI year last year. I don't know if he can follow that up. I'm not sold on Eddie Rosario much.
Ahmed.
So I mean, the top and the middle are going to be great, but come the bottom of the lineup, they're going to need some people to step up.
Yeah, I think this is one of the deeper. I don't think people realize how deep they are.
But yes,
this year.
it is deeper than the last couple of years.
This is a deep team, because it's been all about the pitching the last few years, and now obviously no Syndergaard, no Wheeler, so it's the DeGrom show. Outside of DeGrom, I don't know who I really trust, and then you get into the bullpen. Obviously, Betances, just a bunch of question marks. Betances, Familia, Diaz. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if the Mets are right, I really don't know if you can tell me the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Braves, the Nationals, are those teams that much better than them? I really don't think...
I think the Braves are. I do think the Braves are much better than them. I think Freddie Freeman is about Corona pending. I know he's been sick and he's had fever and so on. But I do think the Braves are definitely a better team than
definitely.
the
That's
and the
outrageous.
Mets. They're definitely a better
That's
team than the Mets. The
outrageous
Nationals,
to say.
I'm not going to say that because of how poorly they started off last year. If
And they
these
obviously
were the
lost their
from
best
last year, the
hitter, or
Nationals
one of their
wouldn't have
best
made
hitters.
the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the Nationals have lost one of their best hitters, obviously, too.
Yes, they did. So, in
Rondon.
Rondon. So, yes, the Mets could be the second best team in that division. I do think the Phillies improved as well. They took Wheeler from the Mets. They added Didi Gregorius.
The
They have a great
Phillies
manager
should be
in Joe
decent.
Girardi
They
there.
got our MLB guy
we're
Joe
going
back.
to see, I'll give the Phillies the manager edge over the Mets right now. Mets have a very inexperienced manager with that ball club. People that kind of went out the window, that whole story because of how
It did.
baseball's been delayed. But they have a first-year manager, and I can't even think of the name right now. Rojas. So I'm very interested to see how this guy is going to manage a 60-game team. I do think they're at a huge disadvantage with the manager-wise, the Mets are, than the
Now,
team.
do you think
like
managers
the Braves and the Phillies? I think they're at a big disadvantage.
Do you think managers will have a bigger impact this year with a shorter season?
I think experienced managers will know how to manage a 60-game season better than someone that has no
That's fair.
MLB manager experience.
That's given. Because my thing is, obviously, with the 60 games, the whole strategy is different. Now, like somebody like DeGrom, I mean, he should pitch, 8 innings every time if he's right?
Yeah, he's got to go. You got to work him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you guys only throwing 100, 150 innings this year. 150 is probably high. I can't see why DeGrom shouldn't pitch 80. Like I'm not really sure. I just with the 60 games and now the DH and then just the strategy of everything is going to be so different.
Right.
It
is. It is going to be different. And your bullpens, I'm going to go with teams with great bullpens. I'm going to like bullpen teams this year.
Okay.
Like the Yankees have a great bullpen. The Mets bullpen has definitely improved. They're going to need bounce-back years from Familia and Diaz to really make a push.
Diaz is
I think
your X factor.
Betances is going to be phenomenal for you guys. I really do. I love Betances, and I can't wait till I have him back next year once he leaves the Mets.
I think he's on a 2-year deal.
Is he on a 2-year? I thought it was 1.
I think it's
Maybe
2.
it was 2. But I would love him back. But yeah, what were you saying about Diaz?
Diaz is your X factor, obviously. He was 1 year, you're right. Yeah, I mean, outside Diaz obviously last year was arguably the worst pitcher in baseball. So,
Yeah.
it's amazing that the year obviously prior to last year, so was his 2018 season, 2019 season, he was the best pitcher in baseball, and then last year he was arguably one of the worst pitchers in baseball. So
I mean, a lot of closers are one-year wonders. Like Kirby Yates is going to be the one-year wonder last year. I don't think Kirby Yates is going to have anything close to the season that he had last year with the San Diego Padres.
Too.
There's a lot of one-year wonder closers in this league. It's very hard to be a closer for a long time in this league. That's why Mariano Rivera is a unanimous Hall of Famer, because it's extremely difficult to do what he did.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. I guess
I mean, you saw, K-Rod go for a couple years. You saw Kimbrel do a couple years.
I mean, really, right now there's really
closer, the Asian guy, Uehara.
Yeah,
I believe he was lights out that one season. And it was just that one season. I don't even know where the guy is anymore. But these closers, they're 1-year wonders, and they're hard to, predict when they're gonna have that season and not have that season.
Totally agree, and that's why. I mean, if Diaz is what he was last year, we're probably toast. Because our bullpen was horrible last year. It's funny because the whole thing for the Mets the last 3-4 years, at least from what I've been saying, is just pitching. We have the best pitching, and now all of a sudden we don't have a great pitch. We don't have great pitching, and now it's about the lineup.
Stroman's going to be a big key for you guys.
Huge.
Porcello. I'm not a Porcello guy. I never was a Rick Porcello guy.
Sneaky Cy Young though he has.
Getting him, and I guess with Syndergaard going down, definitely going to need him. But him at he's going to be at number 3 there. We'll see what happens with the Mets. Losing Wheeler's big in that rotation.
Losing Wheeler's so big because now you lose Syndergaard too. So now you lose two of your 3 horses. Now you guys like Waka and Mats and Porcello all in the rotation.
Yep. So before I get your record for the Mets, Dev, chime in here, Dev. Did we lose Dev? Hold on, stop the record.
Yeah, I think you guys make a lot of good points there. I really think the Mets are going to be a very scary team in the NL, especially in that division. If Freeman is out for a long period of time, if Acuna gets hurt for some reason, I mean, the Mets are that team that's really going to test the Phillies for second place and can potentially squeeze into first place. I really can envision that. Especially
the Mets are better than the Phillies.
Cespedes coming in. I mean, I know a lot of Met fans have been waiting for Cespedes to come back. It's been a long time coming. And you'll get to see the whole Alonso, Polar Bear, and Cespedes connection. Whoever's going to be backing up who, protecting who, that's going to be a scary 1-2 punch there for all opposing pitchers. And, of course, Syndergaard's going to be out for, of course, the rest of the year. And, I mean, as long as the Mets can still have a balanced bullpen and a balanced offense, I don't see why they can't contest in the NL East.
Yeah, I mean, my guess would be that Cespedes backs up Alonso 100%. You're going to need Alonso batting third at the lowest in that Mets lineup.
Well, they were hitting him second last year.
They're going to hit him second.
Last year they were. That's what they did last year, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, other than McNeil,
you have McNeil 1
in that 2-hole before Alonso. I mean, I agree with it. So 2-3, Alonso, Cespedes, not bad. So, give me your expected win total for the Mets this year.
I mean, the more I talk about it, the more I kind of get excited because I'm telling you, this lineup is just so good. Tempering my expectations because we do play in a difficult division, and obviously you're playing a lot of division games this year. I mean, I think 35-25, I'd say, is a fair record for them right now. I would go with 35.
Yeah, all right. I like that. I was gonna say 32 wins, but I could absolutely see them push 35. I'd be happy to see the Mets have some success this year. I think it's a little overdue for
I like
them.
To hear
they
that
have
from
a lot of
Yankee
young
fan.
talent, and of course, I mean, if McNeil can build off the year that he built off last year, or had last year rather, and again, the whole Cespedes connection. You have that bat. If he can somehow become the 2015, even 2016 Cespedes and have that pop, it's going to be a very, very good lineup.
Don't even tease me like that.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I mean, if Cespedes, like Dev was just saying, if Cespedes is healthy, that lineup's scary.
Yep, definitely is. And 35 games, I don't hate that. I do think it's a tad high because these teams like the Yankees and the Rays, they had the Yankees 6 times this year. That's 10% of their schedule. I do think it's a little bit high. I'm with Dev. I have them at 32 wins. I have 2 against Boston, 3 against the Orioles, 2 against Toronto. I only think they get 1 win against the Rays. I give them 2 wins against the Yankees, 4 against the Braves, 5 against the Nats, 7 against Miami, and 6 against Philly. That's how I got all of my wins there. But the last 10 games are very tough. I think the Mets might even be leading the NL East going into the last 10 games of the year. But then they got 3 with the Braves, they got 3 with the Rays, and then 4 with the Nationals. I think the Mets end up choking in the last 10 games of the year. I just do. Just a young, inexperienced manager is going to come back to haunt them a little bit. And those last 10 games, I think that's where the Mets might blow it. Maybe they could squeak into a wild card spot, especially if they expand the playoffs this year, which they are still discussing. But I think they might skid. Those last 10 games are tough.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. 35 might be a smidge high. I'm going to be a little optimistic.
Yeah, that's fine.
We're due for a nice year. We're due for a good year.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I think the Mets are due for a good year. I think this could be the breakout year. Even last year, you were kind of seeing, oh, man, can they possibly be a team that sneaks into the wild card, you know? And I mean, I know, Lou, you were touching upon this too, and if they can get Edwin Diaz in that bullpen, throwing heat and not giving up 2-run bombs and blowing leads and blowing saves every single time he has an appearance, that's a huge plus for them.
Yeah, definitely is. So 32 wins, what I got, I think they can get as high as 36, but I would be totally shocked if they got higher than 36 wins. I got them right around 32, I guess as low as 28. That's my range, 28 to 36. I got them at 32 wins. They will make the playoffs if they expand it. I will say that. I do think they make the playoffs if they expand it. I don't see any NL Central teams, running away with anything there. They're all going to be competitive. They're not going to be higher than 35 wins, those Central teams. The Dodgers are going to crush everybody out west, so they're just going to have to compete with Braves, Nats, and one team in the Central is going to be tough. But like I said, if they can get that extra postseason spot, I definitely can see the Mets in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I would love to see it.
Yeah. So. Any last comments, Mike, before we let you go?
I have one question for you guys. Out of curiosity, what's your over-under for the Yankees?
Oh, right. Just talked about this before we had you on. We both had the Yankees at 39 wins. 37.5 is their over-under, so we're betting mans, then we're going to take the over. Actually, the Mets over-under was 32.5.
Okay.
I'd stay away from that one. I would stay away from
that's
the
a tough one.
32.5 because I got them right at 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair over-under. Like Lou just said, Mike, I'm at 39 for the Yanks, too.
You think that's too high, Mike?
I think you guys play in a very weak division. So
I mean, the Rays are the only one in my division that scare us, and the Blue Jays have a young lineup. A young top of the order, I should say.
And the Jays always play the Yankees tough, no matter who they have, too.
They do. That's why I only have them beaten 6 of 10 times. That's why I only have them beaten 6 of 10 times and not more than that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I would say the Yankees is right around 39 wins. I mean, obviously, it's them and the Dodgers, and then the rest of the league. So,
and something interesting is the Yankees' worst 60-game stretch last year was 37 wins.
Wow,
that was
that's
their
interesting.
worst 60-game stretch last season. Now they're going to have – that was probably without a healthy lineup. So they have – they're going to have Judge in there every day. They're going to have Stanton in there mostly every day. And they added a new ace to the rotation. So I think that they got to have over 37 this year.
There's you guys are scary this year.
Compete a worse 60-game thing they had last year than this year. In these 60 games, they're going to be better than 37.
Yeah, no, you guys are tough this year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, we'll see what the Mets do. We'll see what the Yankees do. Those are our expectations. You heard them here first. We thank Mike for coming on, giving us some Met insight. It's a little hard to do this because us three are over the phone here, three-way call. We're not in person, so it is tough. You're going to hear a lot of people kind of cutting each other off on the recording. But Mike, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
Mike, thanks, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes, thanks for coming. You've given us your Met takes because Devin and I are maybe a little too biased when it comes to that. We always like a Met fan's take. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next week.